Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So today I'm going to make a highly articulated custom Tytus figure, just like the title says. So I'm going to use the new He-Man figure to make this from Mondo Tees. And the first thing I did, I wanted to see how far apart this figure would come apart. And so I've already heated up the legs and pulled off this part of the leg right here. So you can see how those come off right there. And we'll use that for later. So we'll just set these aside. And then, as you know, the hands are already removable, so you can pull those off. And then the wrist things come right off. Now, it took you a while to figure this out, but to get this middle part off, you just have to pull apart the figure right at the waist. And then once you do, you can then pull this off. And the cool thing is it has like normal He-Man underwear underneath there, but this belt that he comes with looks more like Tytus's belt. So I'm going to go ahead and include this belt on there. So there we go. Hard part's getting them back together. I found to get them back together, you may have to hold his two legs like this, and hopefully it doesn't break on me, and then push really hard to get it back together. Takes a lot of effort. There we go. Now his armor to get off, you pull off his head, disconnect one side of the armor, up and over the leg pin, or arm pin, and right around. There we go. Now I got Naked Buck ready to go to be turned into Tytus. Now first thing you'll notice, when you pull off Tytus's head, it has a giant hole where the head's supposed to go, and this is a small little pin. So first thing you have to do is make something to make the difference up, because otherwise it's just not going to work. So what I've done is I've put together a whole bunch of pieces, O-rings and such, and rubber pieces that will then fit on top of here. Oh wait, before I put this on, I need to add these two small little O-rings. And these are the same O-rings I use for the classics figures to fix the head. If you go to Hebrew.com, you will see those listed there. Otherwise it will go down too far. Great, then I put this on, point down. And you can see the stack up I have. Some of the angled O-ring pieces in there first. And then after that I have two flat plastic washers and a standard large O-ring. The one I use for the boot fix. Now the head should fit on there, now that I got enough pieces stacked up. So we'll just pop that head right on there. And there we go. And there's his head. So let's stick the armor on. Just pops right on back there. It's looking more like Tytus every moment, isn't he? And now, instead of putting this wrist cuffs back on, if you heat him up, you can take off his wrist cuffs and just stick those on in its place, and then put back on the original He-Man's hands that were on there before. There's one. Let's see, that's how it's orientated. And let's use the open hand for this one. There we go, here's the open hand, but not for a gun. And just pop that hand right back on there. There we go. Okay, now the hard part is Tytus's boots. This took you a while to figure out. If I use these pieces right here, then these will slide on over the boots, because the boots are huge for the piece that connects. Now the nice part is, if you take a look, is these boots are made to go up the same height as part of the shin. So when this disconnects here, it would just work out perfect, so I didn't have to change this figure, because my goal was not to alter this figure at all. So if I want to, I can turn him back into He-Man and not lose any value in him. So look for the insert of the boot, put this on first, and you want the point to go down. You just slide it over the peg, just like that. And now that it's slid on there, it's going to take a lot of force. Just push the boot right in there. There we go. And now his boot is securely on there. It's not going to come off very easily. Let's do the same to the other side. Over the pin. And then stuff the boot on there. There we go. Ta-da! And now I have a highly articulated Tytus. Now he does look a little skinnier than the other Tytus, but he is pretty cool looking if you ever wanted a highly articulated one. So now you can have your Tytus be more articulated than he came with originally, so you can do more moves and look more like he fits in with the classics better. Now, of course, you can go with the standard weapon, the big giant brain sucker picker-upper thing, which is kind of cool. Now, as many of you know, I've altered my brain sucker pickup tool many times. I just use a can cooler, those can things that you use to keep your cans warm. And what you do is you cut around the can part of it so it's shorter, and then just make 4 holes in it. And then after you make those 4 holes, you just cut it across to connect them. And then when you pick up your figures, it will now hold them in place. Then you sand down these tips right here. See how they're sanded down so they're not quite as pokey on there. That way then you don't damage the figure. Then you just stuff this back in there. And you line up the points with the holes. Ta-da! Now when he goes to pick a figure up, zoop, you can actually grab the figure and pick it up, just like it was meant to do back in the 80s. So that's kind of cool. Scoot this light closer. Notice how shaded I had everything. There we go. Then I also turn the handle over. And I did that so that when he hangs onto it, he wouldn't keep knocking the figure over all the time trying to pick it up. This way he's already up at an angle to hold it up higher. So when he grabs the figure, it's not this weird angle. And that mostly works for the original Tytus because he had lack of movement. I'm probably not going to turn the handle over for the new Tytus. But if you want, you can get a cool Tytus hammer. And I'll be selling this eventually on eBay. And this Tytus hammer, I think, matches way better than that giant, crazy, brain-sucking tool that's in the other one. And now he can have a hammer that matches his armor. And now he's highly articulated. And how cool is that? All right. Before I go, one last custom that I made out of Tytus parts in the past was I wanted to make a Hulk. And this Hulk is pretty cool in that he has the Tytus armor, the Tytus wrist cuffs. I had to sand him out more to fit than just pop him on there. And a giant battle axe that I got from the giant He-Man that Mattel created. All right, so there you go. There you go. There's some cool ideas that you can do to enhance your Tytus. Either one, make them articulated with the He-Man body, or 2, use a Hulk body. And this is actually 2 Hulks in one. I stole this head from one Hulk and then used the body from a different Hulk. So, all right, you guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next video. That's all I got. I got some other uses for these heads here, and I'll be showing that later on for a cool way to utilize this head that you may want to use. So stay in touch. Originally, I was going to use this head to put on the He-Man Giants, but it's way too small for that. You can go back and look at my history videos for that. But I do have a cool fix for that as well, a way to use that. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Bye now.